Yes, I want to greet you all, my friends, comrades, colleagues, fellow Ugandans and Africans all over the world who endeavor to find time and watch my videos. I want to greet my fellow captives who all the time have always encouraged me, spoken to me, sent messages. I really want to greet the people of Uganda, the people in the diaspora. That is major my audience in the US, especially in Boston, California, Chicago. I go and greet people in Canada, Ugandans in the UK, Ugandans in South Africa, South Korea, Dubai, Turkey, and many other countries, Switzerland and Sweden and many other countries endeavor to watch my views. Many Ugandans who are not and Africans seem not to want to watch content that actually concerns them. We love entertainment, we want love, we want gossip and the like. But I want to applaud you who actually watch my videos to the end. Because many I see you watch a few minutes and run away. But most of the content, because we build a story to up to where we feel that you have the information. Because we are in a century that was dedicated to those who are informed. Information is power. Nobody can ever cheat you when you know. It is ignorance, and the states in Africa and Uganda in particular have heavily invested in a project called ignorance. I repeat, the states in Africa, governments in Africa have invested heavily in a project called ignorance and propaganda. They pay a lot of money to keep you in the dark. That's why you see in most of the radios, televisions that most of you watch, they give you movies, they give you talk, and even invite guests. Even wonder why was so and so invited? Who is he? What does he add? When they give them 1 hour, 2 hours, what do they speak about? Because they know if you're knowledgeable, they won't rest. If they must keep in the government, they must serve you. But because they're in a government not to serve you, what they do is to put a situation that you're ignorant and even think that they in office, what they do nobody can do, and it is and whatever they give that is the best they can provide. That's why you find many Ugandans don't know what happens in nearby Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Botswana, Ghana, Egypt. We're not even talking about Europe. They never know. They don't know what happens in Ethiopia, Djibouti, and the like. When you see African news bulletins, like even in our country, Uganda, you find that a few minutes, not even less than a minute, is given for news. So that you must never know what happened in other countries. To make you compare and see, are we on the right track? Are we better off? So I want to applaud you who try to move a step forward to search for information. Can you imagine that according to Google statistics, Ugandans search for 3 things. Number 1 is love. Number 2 is stress. Number 3, musicians. That is what we use our data for. You must change your mindset and start using your data. But today, I did not come to speak as a motivation speaker. I'll find time and get topics. I do even want always to compare you. Send those messages, tell me topics that you feel I must do research and come and expound on them so that we compare notes. This country, we must be the best in order to compete with the best. Today, I come to speak about a matter that concerns all of us, but specifically some of us who have a Buganda DNA. I come to speak about an issue of land. Some time back I sat here and I spoke about the issue of land in Uganda. You'd go on my YouTube, KAIJA official, and I always implore you, when you go there, subscribe. There are over 30 videos, and still I get topics, they encourage me to have topics, and discussed them. I spoke about the history of Buganda, of Mailo land in Buganda, so that everybody is at speed. As they talk about Mailo land, you have something to talk about. I am not the best, but I try to learn from the best. I pick information from the best, I read what they say, I consult them, have tea with them, and I am born here, I'm an interested person, so that I try to make sure that I give you an objective understanding of the views. So I have many videos there. You go there, subscribe, and share with your colleagues. Don't keep your information on it. It's being selfish to keep information that you feel is important. If it's not important, don't share. But if it's important, share with a colleague, so that we are the same page. If we are led and we are knowledgeable, it is easy for us to encounter those who are in management of our affairs, to say this is wrong, we don't want it, we want change. I have told you I have come to speak about Mailo land. In the recent past, or in about 5 years, there have been stories in the media and the corridors of power that Mr. Museveni and his team want to abolish Mailo land. They even claim that it's the source of problems and development in Uganda, and that Mailo land is the source of injustice. But when you ask yourself, have you ever seen the Kabaka of Uganda or heard that is evicting people from their land? Have you ever heard a Uganda landlord evicting people from their land? Those questions and more must ring in your head. You know the names. I want to ask, in Amur, is there a Mailo land where you say conflict, where women stripped naked before the late General Aronda, who was Minister of Internal Affairs? In Toro, we have seen evictions in Kamwenge, in Chegebwa. We have seen evictions in Kasese. There are evictions even in Chiruhura, where Mr. Museveni Council, in Ankole. There are evictions in Munyoro. Many evictions. There are evictions in Musaka. Where are evictions in Sepei region. So the issue of land is an issue that has happened, that has a history. And when we are discussing land, we must be honest. Land has been a source of conflicts all over the world. Nigeria, Cameroon have an issue of land. India, Pakistan, Kashmir. West Bank, that is the Jews and the Palestinians. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Islam with China. Britain, Argentina, the Falklands. The Haiti people are in the soil because of land. Apartheid in South Africa because of land. In Zimbabwe, it's land. Uganda, Kenya, Mijingo, land. The reason why Tanzania came and with Mwalimu Nyerere came and attacked Uganda and supported those who were in exile was because President Idi Amin had gone to get back our land, Kagera. If you went in Sudan, it's land. So the word all over, it is the mismanagement of land, wanting to remove it from those who rightly own it, that has caused conflicts. The earlier we solve that problem, the better. Back to the subject matter, it brings me here. Hey, I forgot in P1, P2, P Labong was land. Even the migrations that we all know were because of land. People wanting to get more land. Land is a source of identity. Land is life. Land is security. Land is shelter. That's why we say motherland. If Buganda is a nation, what makes them Buganda is the land. Go back home in the land, and it's your final resting place. So those who are playing with land, you are playing with the matter of life and death. Land is a source of livelihood. When I have land, I have food, I have shelter, I can secure a loan from the bank, I can command respect. Because for us who have the DNA of Buganda, to be called a man, you must have land. So whoever touches on your land, wants to grab your land, he's actually removing your identity, he's actually taking your pride. So this is a matter, everybody, irrespective of political affiliation, that we must all stand up and say, we push back. You can take our whole, but leave us with land. You have seen people and things become tough. They say, let me go back to the village. Where? To the land. So, ladies and gentlemen, who are watching today, tomorrow, the other day, wherever you watch, what is Mailo land? When did it start? I want to give you a chronology of how Mailo land came to be and where we are today. Because there is a scheme to steal land, but they make those who own land become victims. There was money put in the budget, what is called the land fund, but those who are compensated, we don't know them. So it is land that it is money made to benefit a few individuals. When Uganda was starting, it did not start as you see present-day Uganda. It started as a small area. It started around Lake Wamala and Lake Victoria. You know Lake Victoria, which you would see this is down near Lake Victoria, Kampala, Wakiso. You would see Mukono, Buyekwe. And then Lake Wamala, those who have gone to Suju or Mitiana, that is when you will see Lake Wamala. There were about 5 clans that started Uganda, and that is the Ngeye clan, Mamba, Lugave, Fumbe, Nyonyi, and Ninjaza. Those were the clans that started as the Uganda clan. So land was in the hands or was managed on clan basis. That's why today, those who are Uganda, what they would call your origin in Siboko, is your clan. When they will tell you, my mother's clan of the Njovu, the Maokota, present day Piji. They will tell you those of the Fumbe clan, the Nbaka, present day Wakiso district. To be particular, it could be, I think, now the current Mende sub-county. You would go to Senge, which is in Wakiso, and you find those of the Bogo clan, and many other. So the origin of a clan is where they first settled and they owned land. In that way, it is even called Obutaka. Obutakani joined from the word taka. Land in Uganda is called taka. Obutaka. Where it comes from to Obutaka. Even when you hear Buganda trying to narrate or say their origin, I'm a son of so and so, I'm a grandson of so and so, who is lying at Lamide Kutaka. They talk about Owenju, Enju is on Taka, Ejindi. They're talking about Taka, land. They talk about Omutuba, Mutuba is a tree planted on land. They talk about Wakasoria. They talk about Oruja is a compound on land. So everything in Uganda, actually in Uganda, Mailo is customary. Land is customary. Custom is part of the culture. Land is culture. You can't be a Uganda and don't talk about land. Then you're not a Uganda. And any Uganda prides in that. Any Uganda will tell you, Nabuzeye Taka, I bought some land. So, those 5 started Uganda. As you are aware, Uganda expanded through expansion, conquest. The Sekabakas, or the former kings of Buganda, used to fight and conquer territory. And what is a territory? It's land. So as they expanded, because of the Buganda kind of civilization, they felt that there was need to have a head go and say, you know, we are Ngeye, Nyonyi, Mamba, Porogoma, Mvubu, Njovu. Then what joins us? Then they say they had what we call the Nono Conference, which was between Chintu and the Bataka. The clan heads are always given a title Bataka, of course coming from Taka. And then they chose a leader. That leader became Sir Bataka, the arch landlord. Sir Bataka, the one who could be having more land. So the Kabaka, Sir Bataka eventually became the Kabaka. So he started getting Masaza, what we would call counties. And then he would appoint in each county a Saza chief. You know them. Here where we are seated, Najana Kumbi, the FDC headquarters, that is Chadondo. Our Saza chief is Kapu. My Saza is Busiro. Busiro, our Saza chief is Sebwana. Those who come from Budu, their Saza chief is Pokin. Those who come from Bugerere, he's Mugerere, and the like. So those different Saza chiefs were appointed by the Kabaka to help him manage the vast estates Buganda had accumulated. He would have a Taka, the land of Taka, yes, Saza, the land of the office. The office of the Saza. He had land of the Saza, on which land he would invite those people who never had land, who were called Abasenze. So those were the people who came and started tilling the land. They were allowed to till the land plant, build houses, plant crops, and even get more basenze. That is part of the culture of Buganda. So these ones, of course, they would take what we would call a makula. On every season, when somebody has brewed some beer, you take to the Saza chief. Matoke, coffee, and the like. Those who had what we call a boko, the back cloth, they would make them what they would in their land, would make back cloth, and then do what? Take to the Saza. Even the Saza would collect, and even as the Saza would take to the Kabaka, who is the main landlord. And the relationship was always smooth. In the Buganda, there are two categories of people. No, there are those what you call the royal clan, who are the Prince Abalangira, the Princess Abambeja, of who one of them can become the Kabaka. There is another group of people who are called Abami. Abami are those people who have graduated from Abami are those people who have graduated from the peasantry. The peasantry are the people who we call the Bakopi. But you see, one unique thing about Buganda, any Mukopi can become Omwami, can become Omukungu. When the Kabaka appoints you to perform a responsibility or into office, you become Omukungu wa Ssaabasajja. When you become a leader of a clan, you become Omwami wa Ssaabasajja. At the village level, we have the Batongole. Buganda had a complete structure from village up to the Kabaka. My grandfather, the late Elia, not grandfather, my great-grandfather, in Buganda, I would call him Tata, because the grandfather of my mother, Elia Sebanyiga Muzimba Kugwanga. Those who have passed through Lyantonde, there is a building of one of my uncle, Elia Sewandigi, who was the mayor of Lyantonde. It is called Muzimba House. The Kabaka gave him a responsibility to go in Ankole and teach them how the kind of leadership system structure is. And he was given land in Ankole, that is in Barara. My grandfather had land in Nyabitanga, in Sichi. That land is still there. My uncle, Joseph Francis II, has a house there. My late Jaja is buried there. My late uncle and many relatives have been buried there. But eventually came and back and got 3 square miles in Kabula. It is the reason why. So then, what made you a man is your ability to share land with others. You would bring abasenze, who eventually in the rest of the eventually are being called a baby band. So the basenze, what made you a man? That you have your men, you never sajja bange, you never abantu banga, have my people on my land. So people would mobilize people and have them on their land. It was a source of pride. That is even when the Kabaka would make you a chief. Others, what would you qualify you to become a chief when you cannot share what you have? Today you see people who have no ratings in society becoming leaders. You look at their background and then you say, who is this guy? No track record. Even find somebody who steals in URA, he comes and becomes an MP. Somebody steals people's land, people's property, orphans and the like, and becomes a leader. In the past, you wouldn't. The person who would bring people together, who would give people hope, who would help people, would be the chief. I think that is why the Kabaka was said Masomoji. The one who has sharp eyes. So, my grandfather had land and was a mwami. So now I'm a muzukuru w'omwami. So this is how, and they had land, and as I've told you, they would have Basenze, and the Basenze would always bring on every season what they have cultivated. Msenze would go to the landlord, the landowner, to say, called my boss, Mukama wange, I had a good harvest. Somebody would bring maize, would bring beans. It was called omwake. Season in Uganda is called omwake. You bring beans, bring matoke, and the like. And then you'll find in somebody's store, they tell you, my people brought me this. There was never a fight in Uganda between landowners and their basenze, who kind of called squatters. There was never a fight. Because if they knew their responsibilities, there was that mutual respect, that mutual love. So the colonialists, when they came here, they were impressed by this kind of organization. The first land law that came in Uganda, I've told you that was part, because as part of culture, everybody knew their responsibility. The first land law that was in Uganda was in 1897. This vested all the land in the hands of the British, who were called protectors. Because remember, Uganda had become a British protectorate. Those you remember in 1884, the Berlin Conference, Africa was shared by the British for their own interest. Kenya became a colony. That is the set aside that was with Tanzania. So in 1900, by 1900, there was what is called the famous Uganda Agreement. This was an agreement. No, before that, to understand these matters well, in 1888, we had the famous religious wars. The first were Faransa, Uingereza. Remember in 18, during the reign of Kabaka So, 1956, the Muslims came here, the Arabs, and spread Islam. In 1877, after Stanley taking a letter given to him by Ssekabaka Mutesa I to the Queen of England, asking him to bring their kind of civilization to come and teach his people. The Church Mission Society, who we call the Anglicans from Britain, or the Protestants, came to Uganda. Then 2 years after, Father Audel, the White Fathers, who we call the Catholics, came to Uganda. That's 1879. So now we had, it is believed that Ssekabaka Mutesa, although he invited these people, he never joined any of those religions, because he wanted to be neutral as the head, to be able to judge, to make judgments and preside over his people. When he died, his son Ssekabaka Daniel Mwanga Basamulekere. That's the name of my friend Prince Nicholas Basamula, I think He's a prince. He got it, but I remember he was. But that name Daniel, he got it when in exile in Seychelles, where he converted Christianity and was baptized. But Sekabaka Mwanga became the Kabaka. In order to please them, that they would say, some writers say, in the morning you'll be a Catholic, in the afternoon a Muslim, in the evening, so that we will come say, yes, I understand what you're talking about. So religious wars came, what we call the Wangereza wa Faranza. Wangereza being the British Protestants and the Catholic. As I've told you, it was a time for the scramble and the partition of Africa. So when they fought and fought and fought, eventually the British saw Sekabaka Mutesa one as the problem. He was taken to exile first in Lango, where they met with Kabarega of Bunyoro, and then eventually they were taken to Seychelles. They were trying to coordinate and fight off colonialism. So when these people fought, eventually Mwanga was first replaced by Prince Chiwewa in 1888. But it is a taboo in Buganda. Even a Mukopi cannot have a hair before the death of your father or your death. A Mukopi. A Kabaka cannot have a hair, cannot be replaced. But you see, these people wanted puppets. Now, eventually, as the wars intensified, he was in power for the throne in 1888. Then there came Sekabaka Karema. Karema was the only Muslim Kabaka of Buganda. His palace was in Karema. Those who have gone to Mende, you pass via Hoima Road, Nansana Wakiso, Namusera, then you go to Mende. Inside there, there's his mosque is there. Though that is where they first made kanzus. These ones of Mailo, the Uganda kanzu that we wear when we go for Kwanjula. That's why you hear them say, have you passed via Mende? That is where it happened. So now again, when Karema came in, the Wangereza and the Wafaransa joined hands to remove him. And he was removed. Then the British decided to install, put on the throne a young boy, Kabaka Daudi Chwa, and given 3 regents. That was Saprokagwa as the Katikiro, Stanislas Ngwanya, and then Zakaria Chisingi. Those became the regents who were actually, I would say, who were the real Kabakas who were managing the affairs of Buganda, because the king was an infant. Now they started apportioning the Masaza and put Saza chiefs. Now, in religion, that is how the Muslims only go to Butambala. Because during the religious wars, many Baganda Muslims ran away, went to exile in Akoli. That is why you see Baganda in Isingiro. That is the Dr. Zasman Rukwagos. Baganda is in Singiro. The Haji Center Mus in Mbarara. The Haji Matovus of Mbarara. The ones in Tungamu, the many Bagandas there. So they are all Muslims who ran away. Now the Muslims are given Mutambala. Most of the Masaza here at the center were Anglicans, You see the one that most of the Sada chiefs in Hutu are Catholics, and that is how the position of the Katikiro became the position of the Anglicans. It is Ssaabasajja Kabaka Mutesa II that brought the Catholics on board. But then it was known, it was Boric. And the reason why the Democratic Party started, when the son of Joseph Mugwanya, who felt should have been the Katikiro, was rejected, his name was rejected in 1954. So now DP started when him and other colleagues had gone to school in St. Mary's, Kisubi, Mobile, to show that the Buganda can have a voice, the Catholic Buganda can have a voice. But he never succeeded. Possibly his campaign and his pressure reaped results, as the pressure of Dr. Martin Luther King, when he said, "I have a dream," when blacks at one time will be considered, that is why we have had Katikiro, Engineer Walusimbi is a Catholic, and the current Katikiro, Mukoma Damula, Council, is a what? Is a Catholic. That is how we can say that is when the Catholics came in. So in this battle, the beneficiaries were Anglicans, who, because the protectors here were from Britain, and put the Anglican Church at the forefront of the politics of Uganda. The Catholics came following, and the Muslims were put at the tail end. Don't ask me where the traditions were left. The traditions were out of this. So we go to the Uganda Agreement of 1900. The British measured the land, went and got surveyors and surveyed the land, and estimated the land of Buganda to be 17,000 square miles. When they came to write the 1900 Buganda Agreement, which was negotiated by Bishop Tucker, who is an Anglican and British, Buganda said the signatories, I've told you, they were the regents, led by Katikiro Sapolo Kagwa, and Bishop and Sir Harry Johnson represented the Queen of what? The Queen of England, or the British government. But that agreement, Afrocentric scholars have argued that it was never an agreement. I have seen I've told you the parties were majorly British. They negotiated, the signatories, and it was drafted in English. When you read the Expression of My Kingdom by Sekabaka Daudi Chua, sorry, by the Sekabaka Sir Edward Mutesa II, you will find that the regents could not read. They depended on the advice of Bishop Tucker, who we know missionaries are only forerunners of colonialism. In his writing, he tells you they spent almost a whole day writing their names. Should we assume the name Sir Apollo Kabwa can take a ream of papers? Of course no. Why? They didn't know the details. So in this agreement, 8,000 square miles were apportioned among Uganda. They are estimated that at the time 1,000 Buganda owned land. 2, 9,000 square miles were put in the hands of a British protectorate government, which was called Crown Land. And this one became Mailo land. The Crown Land, that is the land that you see all the government installations. Here is Crown Land. State House Entebbe offices that you see are Crown Land. Wetlands are Crown Land. Forests are Crown Land. And all that kind of land was put in the hands of the British. But one important thing in that agreement, they say, non-Africans must not own land. Non-Africans must not own land. So in that way, the Kabaka was given, the Kabakashi was given land, and the Masaza and the like, and people bought land. So they said those who needed land, they gave the Luchiko to do the management of land in Uganda, and to put, because I have saw the agreement confirmed ownership. Now they said, no, this is your territory. Because at the time, you know, those who know land in Buganda, they used to use what they call the mituba, impanyi, those kind of plants which are used to show demarcations, boundaries of land. So those who own Bibanja in Buganda have such demarcations. Now those who own land have stones, those stones that are inserted in the land to show the boundaries. So what they did is that now they put in place a system of giving out certificates, that one would go to the Chico and apply for a certificate. So this means that before non-Baganda could own land, non-Ugandans could own land. British could own, like as you see, the Kenyan highlands are owned by the whites. You've seen land in Zimbabwe and the like. But here they said no, we don't, because they had seen that land was part and parcel of the culture of Uganda. So touching on that land was to create a revolt. So the British said, we shall not touch it. And they left it at that. Now they said that if a non-Ugandan, a white, who would say a foreigner, the Indians and the like, if they wanted land, one needed to seek permission from the regime, the Parliament of Uganda. That was around 1906. So now, the Buganda petition. So somebody can get permission and eventually takes land. You know, Buganda have always been without of brains. So Buganda, through Bishop Tucker, they petitioned the British Protectorate, and the Minister in charge of colonies directed that all the land occupied by Europeans should be turned into lease. And then they are called grants, to be governed by the Crown Land Ordinance, or the law of the Crown Land. So I will actually explain that. Now when that land was turned to a grant, it meant that you sell your land to a British, an Indian, a Pakistani, or the like, or a foreigner, and you get a grant. So on the map of the land in Buganda, there was always a letter G, followed by a serial number G001, G002. So that meant that after a period of 99 years, that land was supposed to return to the owners who sold them, who was a Muganda or who was a local. That was very important, that I tell people to secure their land. So in 1922, they started registration of titles. And there are three types. One, Mailo land, which I've been explaining, where you have a title, this is my land, these so acres of land. Then there was freehold. Freehold, this is here also somebody owns land entirely, permanently, with no limitation, with infinite and infinite ownership of land, again with Mailo. But this one, freehold, would be got from what we call public land, what we would call after an end of a lease. Land that was turned, people would get freehold land titles. Then leasehold. Lease is when somebody we know, somebody is here for 10 years, 50 years, 30 years. The last is 99 years. So in 1958, the system changed from mile to block. Those who have land titles, you see there's a mile and block. One thing I can remind you is that to show you that my land is part of the culture of Uganda. Those who have land titles, you can check. They would ask you for your name, the name of your father, and grandfather. That was like Kulanya. To show that you are Ugandan by descent. That was one way of protecting so that land remains in the hands of Ugandans. And here, there is even a provision of a clan. So touching on Mayo, touching on the culture. In 1922, two gentlemen, Daudi Basude and Kurubya, went to court because they were saying that now how do the Ibanja owners behave in this kind of situation? Because for them they felt that paying Busuru would only be to the Kabaka. So in 1927, they introduced Busuru and Umvujo Act that was meant to streamline the relationship between the Mayo land owner and his tenant. Call them tenant, the Ibanja owner, and his quarters. Busuru, somebody would get a certificate, a receipt, that periodically you pay a given sum of money for the area you occupy to the landlord. And he would give you a receipt. It is that receipt that will show that, no, I am a bona fide, I am an owner of this kibanja. To do whatever you want. You know, a kibanja, unlike a lease, because a kibanja, you can plant, you can bury your people there, you can build a house there, you can do business there on your kibanja. But with a lease has conditions. Someone will say, never bury anybody on my land. Never build a structure that can last for this period of time. So in that way, Busuru was, so in this law, was helping to be able to streamline. And the solution was calm, and everybody knew their responsibility. People would do the economy, they would have the economy there, the economic banja, you know, I have a plantation of matoke, a plantation of coffee, a plantation of any kind of plantation So there was even a recommendation that possibly people should be given deeds, should be given like a partial kind of certificate. But as I've told you, there are receipts would act. And by the somebody would sell his chibanja. You'd come and say, I'm selling you my chibanja, and you take that person to the landlord, and say the my landowner say, I am bringing a man called Norman to come and sit on my what? I'm also giving him a proportion. Say, okay, so he is put in a register. The only person who would be stopped from owning land was a thief, a witch doctor, or a convict. And somebody would only be chased if they went to a Gombolola or a sub-county and they realized that you are not paying, or you had left your land vacant for a long time and disappeared without telling anybody, or you had you're not paying. But they will give you 2 years to make sure that people live in harmony. In as I told you, 1958, there were some changes where it was changed from mile to block and plots, where here plot number, block this, and the like. A block is bigger, that would be like the mother title, and the plot, that is the kind of area that a particular person has bought. Now where then came 1962. In 1962, when the British were leaving, they sat with the Buganda Kingdom. And then they were saying, now we are leaving, we are handing over land, your land back. The crown land, it is what you hear, the Mailo Kenda. The Buganda is demanding and the Uganda are demanding. It is their rightful land, which they fought for, which they own as a kingdom and as the people of Uganda. So they put in place what is called Uganda Land Commission, that was in charge of managing that land. So in 1975, General Amin abolished my land and turned it into lease of 99. That after 99 years, that land was supposed to go back, was supposed to become public land, so nobody would have private land. The Buganda kept their titles. Now in 1995, with the new constitution, they brought back private ownership of land. Say land is a private property. People can regain back their land. But the bad things about this new constitution, it allowed foreigners to own land, which was not the case with 1900 agreement. It put Busul land rate at 1,000 shillings per year. But they did not say what size of land, what economic activity one is doing on his land. But that had been a plot to make sure that those who own land find no use of land. They had realized that land here is very expensive. Somebody can sell a piece of land and they take their children to school. Somebody can sell a piece of land and start business. Somebody can sell just a small piece of land and they become rich. Many of the business people you see sold land of their parents to start business, and now they are rich. So now, after seeing 1,000 shillings, landlords got annoyed. And even Uganda holders felt that, how do I leave my house to go and take 1,000 at the end of 365 days? Landlord said, if I see somebody come to my house with 1,000, I'll spare this person. So animosity between the two arose. Now, people who had stolen land in Buganda started plotting. What do? They come to you. Simple, you have land. But you're not, you do have to hear you on in a beer hall, lamenting that my land has no use to me. I'm not enjoying it. They've taken my land. I can't have it. I can't use it. I am grassing. So what they did is they said, no, don't worry. We will help. For me, sell it to me. I'll sort them. Now they buy it to you, they buy it from you, same para, at a low price, saying they will deal with the tenants. That is where the battle of eviction came. Because those who have money are connected to government. Those who have money have guns. That's why you hear General so-and-so, Minister so-and-so, and the like. All of you, or some of you, must have followed the commission of Jasibam Gemerei. You would hear that this is taking hospitals, forests. You saw an Attorney General, Minister Okuta, stealing land, saying you can only report me to God. You saw ministers, you saw commissioners, you saw NRM gurus. The problem was not Mailo. They were not stealing the land because it was Mailo. They were not evicting people because it was Mailo. They were not evicting people because they were government to give it to other people. They were evicting people and taking land for their selfish motives. To come and have land where power is. So that others are squatters. So in future, it is them who must be selling and getting these huge sums, because you find a plot, $1 million, that is 3.6 billion Uganda shillings. That is huge money. If you put in the bank and you had, even if 10 children, they'll go to the best universities. So that is what the people who are governing this country wanted to do. Going back to the grant where I told you, the grant releases, that's where the problem is, because now they want to remove my land and have freehold. I'll give you two cases. There was a gentleman, a prince in Buganda, Prince Simba. Prince Simba sold his land or as a grant to Captain Hinks in 1911. That means by 2010, that land was supposed to go back to the family of the prince. Now what happened is, these thugs, we have nicknamed mafia. Of course, mafias are intelligent. When they steal, they never leave their traces, their marks. These greedy creatures started, it is what we call now the country Alua estates, went and changed that land into freehold and got those titles. They started selling the land. Another one, it was a case that has been handled by Council Malira. He talked about it, some of the documents I was trying to read, of a gentleman in Mukono who leased land in 1914, 332 acres. But this land, through the land office of Mukono, was changed into freehold. And now they claim they bought this land from Dr. Lumu. Dr. Lumu was the Minister of Health during the aborted one government. But at the time he was in jail. When they contacted his daughter, he revealed, no, that's not my father's handwriting. Now, these land titles has become hard to use them to secure loans. Because those land titles, at the back of them, there's an older land title, which should be the mother land title, which should be the real land title. Now when the banks give them loans, when they go to take the land, they find themselves in court with another person who has an older land title. Now this is the mission. If they remove Mailo, what these guys want is that when Mailo land is scrapped and we start freehold, they will invite you to go and register your freehold and get freehold titles. A land title has a date. You're going to register your freehold land title in 2021. If now these guys' land titles will become genuine, who are made on your land, because they have them, they will be as old as 10 years, 15, even if 5, even if 2. So when now they will be able to use those land titles and get money from the banks. When you go to claim your land, they will say bring the land title. It will show that no, your land title is a new title, because in law the first one who bought first becomes the legitimate land title. You have seen how people can cheat others. This is a move that we must not accept. This is a move that we must fight. This is a move that does not distinguish between your politics, your sex. It is about your life. It is about your future. It's about your economy. It's about your children. It's about your heritage. It's about your identity. I call upon all of you to come and stand up for your land. I call upon those who are in government. You wanted to say you're doing some kind of fix. When you computerized, they brought computerization of land titles. Some people go there and they say, your data is not on the computer. But of course, computers, as computers, it is what we call garbage in, garbage out. This is the last nail in the coffin of making us captives, slaves on our own land. We've been able to persevere for the last 35 years. And I want to congratulate all of you who are in Uganda. They were gone on the land of Uganda. Those who have said, okay, fine. Land is not movable. Land is fixed. And said, okay, let's wait. Post another government, other leaders will create an environment that is friendly, so that if I have my land, I till my land, I'll be able to benefit from my land. When they came, they told us that we can get money out of silk. We planted, they are called, I've forgotten how we used to call it. For us, we planted about 20 acres of land with my mother. They told us Moringa would give us money. We tried. We remember when we tried and said now, when Vanilla we said yes, now this is our jackpot. At every moment, they told us soya. They told us red pepper. And you don't know how hectic it is to harvest red pepper. You would quit yamla, as Mr. Museveni calls. You would quit yamla. My mother is a no-nonsense lady. Tell you, for me, I want my harvest here. We harvested no market. Coffee lost market. Everything lost market. Was this the deal to make sure that we hate our land? Many youth sold their land after seeing they would get nothing. I know boys said, trying to lay bricks, think they would get something out of their land, trying to survive. Now they said, yes, you have country. But some of us say we shall not sell our land. We shall keep our land and be able to live another day. Ladies and gentlemen, this move to remove Mailo land is to weaken the kingdom of Buganda, the Kabaka of Buganda, the people of Buganda, and divide the people of Uganda. Winston Churchill said, no, not Winston Churchill. That is President. Is the man running out of my head? US President, I remember, later said, divided, united we stand, divided we fall. He also said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. This battle is meant for the Buganda to see for other people are not Buganda as enemies. So that somebody tells the other people that you see, you're not safe with the Buganda. And comes and tells the Buganda, I will protect you. So at the end of the day, every group keeps fighting each other and we can never unite as a nation to move forward. Today, in this kind of talks, the prices of land fall. Because someone says, no, I'm not sure of what you're selling to me. Let's wait for the amendment. You go to the bank will tell you, no, you wait a moment. We don't know what you are giving us. So that will, in the long run, will even affect the economy of this country. Because land has been a collateral security that you can place on before any bank manager and they'll give you money. Land, you will get someone who has money and you ask him to start a project for the land. But now an investor cannot come in a situation whereby the issue of ownership of property is not sorted. Those in government, you lose. You already have a dead economy. And again, you are breeding, you are planting seeds of hatred. You are calling for a genocide. People who hate you will hate you most. Leave our land. Leave our land. Leave our land. It is all we have. It is our identity. It is our motherland. It is our economy. It is our shelter. It is what makes, it is our source of pride. I want to say thank you. Watch this video with friends. Share with them. Compare notes. Because when we have this on the same page, we'll be able to defend our land. MPs, you might have played for any other thing. This is the time to stand on our side. Those who have custodial land, which is not customary, don't celebrate when these guys are taking our land. Because their appetite is hard to satisfy. They will come to your land. You are better off defending our land so that they don't take our land, and will be strong enough to defend your land so that we all have our land. We can stand stronger together. Thank you so much. God bless you.